Well, hello everyone.
Hi.
For another edition of Horizon Senior Pastors Midweek Update. Dave, Judith.
Good to see you. Good to be with you.
And I haven't bought a new one. Did remember one of our favourite places, the camper van, which is sawned off the road because we can't use it. In there was another cushion. So there we go. We've got the camper van cushion.
You can hardly wait to tune in, can you?
Right, okay. I'm going to kick off first, and I've got a couple of questions for us this time. The first question is, what good has come out of lockdown that you want to take into your new normal? We're never going back to old normal, I don't think. Your new normal. What good has come out of lockdown that you're going to take into your new normal? See, we can tend to focus on the negative aspects of lockdown, and believe you me, you know there are lots of those. And I'm not downplaying any of the bad stuff that's come up or pretending it didn't happen. It is there. But, you know, human beings do have a tendency to focus on the negative. So just want to take a look at positive things. Can you think of anything positive that's come out of this lockdown? I'm sure if you think hard enough, you will find some things. And then once you've got those in your mind, and not just now, but take time to do this later on, choose from those the good things that have come out of it, which ones that you would want to take into post-lockdown life. And when you do that, you will find that you may need to plan or work out how you are going to do that. You're going to have to be intentional to take the things you've enjoyed or learnt in lockdown into your new normal because they just won't fit otherwise. You can't just cram the good things you've enjoyed, the new things you've learned, the kind of that you're thinking, oh yeah, I'd like to continue to do that. You can't just cram it into your new normal. They just won't fit. Something has got to make space for that new thing to happen in your life. For example, I had a message come up onto my emails telling me that my iCloud memory capacity was almost full. And I could purchase, for some ridiculous price, a bigger iCloud, there's the clock again, memory. So I had a choice. Either I trawl through all of my photos and all of my videos that are on my phone and iPad and go, the ones that you take and just send that to so-and-so for a laugh or whatever, but you don't really want to keep it. Either I spend my time trawling through all of those and deleting them and making room on my iCloud so I didn't have to pay any more, or pay through the nose. You know what I did? I've been trawling through them and deleting them because I refused to pay for any more because some of the stuff on there is out of date, didn't want any more. And so it is for us, we may have to have a look at our lives and think, I really want to include that, so what's got to give? Maybe I need to, try not to cram it all in. For example, if you've started a new hobby or you've rekindled an interest or a passion in one you used to have, then might be you're going to have to think, well, actually, rather than watching as much telly as I did pre-lockdown, I ought to reduce that so I can make time for my hobby. So, what things have you enjoyed that you want to take forward, and how are you going to work out to take those forward? And the second question is related, but what things you have done or even enjoyed in lockdown, or things that you've spent more time doing that you enjoyed, that you are going to have to alter in the new normal? You see, some people have had an awful lot of time on their hands. Not all, because some people have been working through all of this. But even those people maybe have a bit of extra time, saying as they didn't go out socialising with friends, or they haven't had to commute to work or go to meetings. Everyone must have had maybe a little bit of extra time. But what have you been doing with that extra time? Now, I watched Andrew this Sunday morning before our own church service, live for Audacious, and he was doing the pre-meeting kind of intro, the chat. And he was saying that he discovered some people who've been, his people he knows, have been watching lots of YouTube videos on the most ridiculous things that they would never spend their time watching in pre-lockdown. For example, lawns. That's green stuff, grass. They were watching videos, YouTubes, on how to take a bad lawn and you do this with it and you improve it until it's a good lawn. Other people were watching cleaning videos, cleaning a carpet or cleaning a cooker. I mean,
You serious?
yeah, he's serious. So, what have you been doing with your extra time? Well, you know, some of those things you might enjoy and you think, yeah, actually, I quite like that. That's something nice and relaxing, that's just interesting or enjoyable. But do you know what? Be prepared to leave that stuff behind or have the attitude it's got to be reduced, because you won't have that spare time in post-lockdown. If you don't kind of have that attitude, you will have this tension and struggle and therefore stress of wanting to continue those things that aren't really important but you enjoyed into your life, which has all the demands back on it, and you will have some tension and stress with that. Eventually we'll have to get out of bed in the morning and out of our pyjamas to come to church. Eventually.
Well, we hope so.
So some people have to get that thinking that they won't be able to do church in their pyjamas. A certain person on Zoom this week, but remain nameless. And you are going to have to get out of bed. And eventually, when we have get back to meeting on a Sunday morning, you'll have to reorganise your whole Sunday morning to get to church on time if you want the live experience of being together to worship and be the family gathering together in one place. Who knows, we might continue the online stuff as well. But if you wanted to be there with everyone else physically, you're going to have to say, well, that means I need to get up early on a Sunday morning. But I used to get up at 20 past 10 and just flick the iPad on. But you can't carry that into your new life without tension unless you're kind of like, yeah, I know that needs to change. I know something needs to change. So, my two thoughts for you. What good things came out of our lockdown that you want to take into your post-lockdown life, and how you're going to do that, intentionally plan that, and what things do we need to reduce, to leave behind, in order that we're going to be able to approach our post-lockdown life without all the stress and tensions of wanting to do that but knowing you can't. So I hope those things are helpful to you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to speak to you just for a few minutes on how to produce a perfect lawn. Or maybe not. But I did want to read to you from John's Gospel, chapter 9. Emily asked us to do the children's story for Horizon Fun. And it was from this passage, and it's kind of spoken to me a little bit since then. And it's the story of the man who was born blind, but Jesus healed him. It says in John chapter 9, as he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in his life. As long as it is day, we must do the work of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And then the story goes on. He spat on the ground, put mud in the man's eyes. We had a lot of fun with that one, I tell you.
Watch Horizon Fun video this.
And told him to go and wash in a certain pool. And he did that. He obeyed. And when he came back, he could see.
Mm-hmm.
And his neighbours and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, "Isn't this the same man?" And some said, "No, it can't be." But the man said himself, "I am the man." What a great story. In verse 4 it says, as long as it is day, we must do the work of him who sent me. The night is coming when no one can work. And I just want to give you a little tip. I'm glad you're listening to this now, because this kind of fits in with what I'm going to be speaking about this coming Sunday, about our opportunities in life that God gives us. As long as it's day, we must do the work of him who sent me. You know, daytime is the time for work. Now, we've got to remember that this was written in the time before electric light. You know, people work all times in the day and night. They can work all the way, because you just switch a light on and carry on working. But generally speaking, daytime is for working, nighttime is for sleeping. And that's a picture, really, of opportunity that is to be used while it's there, but can be lost when it's gone. You know, the day and the night. God created the heavens and the earth. He made the sun to shine by day and the moon to shine by night. But do you know what? Sometimes the moon comes out during the day. Have you noticed that?
Cheeky moon.
Yeah, our granddaughter, Marla, when she sees a moon during the day, she calls it a cheeky moon because it shouldn't really be out. It's a nighttime thing. But this need that this man had is represented by as an opportunity for Jesus to do something. First thing I want to say is this, that the disciples tried to work out who was to blame. Who's to blame for this man's blindness? Was it him? Was it his parents? Why? And sometimes we can be in a bit of a blame culture. We can't change the past. And I don't think Jesus is particularly concerned about looking at the blame. I think he's more concerned with doing the works of miracles that changes our lives. I thank God that my past has been taken away because the grace and the love and the mercy of Jesus has come and changed my life from the inside. Doesn't make me better than anybody else, but it makes me better than I was. And so it doesn't matter who was to blame. What matters was that Jesus loved that man and reached out to him. And he took an opportunity. He saw it as a daytime, an opportunity. And when Jesus was on the earth, it was a kind of a daytime opportunity for him to do the works of his Father. That's what it says here. It says the night's coming when no one can work. You know, we through our lives have opportunities that God gives us. He gives us daytimes. And those daytimes are daytimes when we can work and achieve things that we won't be able to do when the night time comes. I've got to say that I used to do youth work. I couldn't really do it now because I'm just over 30.
You can't stay up in the evening long enough.
Oh man, I tell you what, Andrew does the youth work at Manchester. We just watch him and it is exhausting.
When he's set down and they go to McDonald's afterwards, he's getting home at 2:33 in the morning from doing youth work.
I used to do youth work. I used to be pretty good at youth work because I could do it. But now young people look at me and think I'm quaint. So there you go.
Quaint?
They put up with me.
But you mean old?
Yeah, that as well. You know, they kind of pity me really instead of... But that day has gone.
Yes.
And now I've got a new day. And by the grace of God, I want to use the day that I have now to be able to do what I can do now. Because a night time will come to what I can do now. And it's the same with each one of us. The night time comes when no one can work. But the result was this, that when Jesus took the opportunity to meet with that man, to deal with his past, to deal with the thing that troubled him from the moment he was born, the fact that he couldn't see. And can I say, he didn't know what sight was. He didn't know really what was wrong with him because he'd never known anything else. And the problem is this, that in our lives, we don't know there's anything wrong with us sometimes. We need the light of the Lord to come and shine that on us so that he can make us aware. And then it will cause a change and it will cause something new that people will see and think, is that really him or her? But you will know yourself and people will see the difference as well. The man had a new perspective and people saw it too. And really, it is a picture of what God wants to do in our lives. He wants to bring light and life and change and mercy and grace upon us so that he can help us to serve him in the day that we have. Lockdown can be a bit like nighttime, but it's also a daytime opportunity. Judas talk about what can you take out of lockdown? Well, let's see what God wants us to take out of lockdown. Let's see what he can help us to achieve now, to take out. Can I just say that Paul, the apostle in the Bible, did some of his best work in lockdown. It's when he was in the prison. He wrote some of the greatest books of the Bible, and God can use us. God bless. Have a great week.
Yeah, have a great week.
Please join us on Sunday. It really, really is important. I've said it before. I said it last time that we make the effort to get together on a Sunday if you can. I know that some of you can't, and you'll watch it later, and that's fine. That is really fine. But if you can join on Sunday and put those comments in and just share, it's great. So
and those of you that have not got to grips with Zoom yet, do try and give it a go, because the after church Zoom coffee is a good way of catching up
Just
with
saying
everyone's
hi.
lives, you know, and see what news is, which is not possible to do on a Sunday in the services.
Not yet.
Not yet.
God bless. Be blessed.
Have a good week.
And enjoy the day.
Bye.
Bye.